Am I invited?
Yes. Yes, you're definitely invited. I invite you to all my parties. You just haven't seemed to show up.
No, well, is it on the East Coast?
Yes.
Well, that's why. Why don't you have one here on the West Coast? Because I work all the time.
Okay, well, maybe I have one at your house.
Where's that? I know about them.
The temple, and then look at the...
Let me see Ellen's background. What? Oh, similar. That looks like a building, though. Like
sure.
Yeah. Is that a building in L.A.? That might be a building.
Ellen, were you surprised by the allegations about P. Diddy? Did that surprise you about P. Diddy? He's been on your show many times. Have you been?
Joe Rogan recently made a comment that instantly reignited discussion online, and this time he focused on the silence surrounding Ellen DeGeneres. With the Diddy situation dominating headlines and social media timelines, many people keep asking the same question. How is no one connecting the dots that continue to surface? Ellen's name keeps appearing in these conversations, yet many seem to act as if they don't notice it. When news broke about serious federal issues involving Diddy, the public reacted the way it usually does. People started revisiting old clips, past interviews, and moments that once felt harmless but now land very differently when viewed through a new lens. That's where Ellen enters the conversation. Viewers began resurfacing clips of Ellen and Diddy appearing unusually comfortable on her show, laughing, joking.
All right, we're back with Sean. Diddy comes. Is it Diddy today? Because sometimes you're Puffy and sometimes you're Diddy. Or sometimes you're Daddy. What are you today?
I'm so confused today with it, as long as you say it in a nice way.
And casually leaning into party-related talk as if it were completely innocent. But with the way the narrative has shifted, those same jokes are now being replayed as if they carried a deeper meaning. Joe Rogan addressed this directly on his podcast. In his view, there may be a reason Ellen isn't being questioned the same way others are. Diddy appeared on her show multiple times, and the party discussions were not brief or accidental.
As you may have heard, this summer there were allegations of a toxic work environment at our show, and then there was an investigation. I learned that things happened here that never should have happened. I take that very seriously, and I want to say I am so sorry to the people.
They were public, on camera, casual, and are now being re-examined by viewers as part of a much larger story. When you really step back and look at it, the silence itself stands out. It raises a single question. Is this simply awkward timing? Or is it the kind of topic people avoid altogether? And this is where things begin to feel even more unusual.
I guess Diddy just kept people at his houses because he's got multiple houses and he's just had freak out part. Look at him. Look at Saucy Santana. Go, Saucy.
Yeah. No, Saucy's crazy. Have you seen Saucy?
Many people remember when Ellen's show ended, following the widely reported workplace controversy. That situation was more than a short-lived headline. It reshaped how audiences viewed her. Later, Ellen and Portia moved to the UK, with Ellen publicly linking the decision to the political climate. While some accepted that explanation, others viewed the timing differently. Fair or not, that's how it was interpreted.
New thing, are you going to try to be early?
Yes, I'm trying to be early.
Are you going to be early for my party?
Yes, I am. No.
No.
You know I have to arrive fashionably late.
All right. Not too late, though.
Not too late?
Not too late, please.
What time would you like me there?
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But not too late, because you know, once you get there, the party really starts.
Yeah.
And because audiences rarely settle for maybe, people continued pulling up old moments and asking what really happened behind the scenes. Before going deeper into Rogan's comments, it's important to understand why Ellen matters in this conversation at all. When BuzzFeed News released its report about her show, it quickly challenged her long-standing "be kind" image. Former staff described an environment marked by pressure, intimidation, and a lack of accountability. What stood out most to the public was the contrast. The brand promoted kindness, while the stories suggested something very different. The backlash became intense. Several executive producers were removed, and Ellen addressed the situation publicly. Still, the debate never fully ended. Was the issue limited to management, or was it part of a broader culture? Ellen maintained that she wasn't aware of everything happening behind the scenes, which divided public opinion.
Personal beef with Diddy, but it's got to go down. The bits are there. I'm a gold miner. I just found some.
Some accepted that explanation. Others didn't. Either way, her reputation was impacted. The show continued briefly before ending, with Ellen saying it no longer felt creatively challenging. Many viewers, however, interpreted it as a sign that trust had been damaged and never fully restored. This brings the focus back to what Joe Rogan actually said. During a discussion about Diddy, Rogan pointed out how many celebrities openly joked for years about attending Diddy's gatherings, often treating it like a badge of honor. He mentioned figures like Ashton Kutcher and others who spoke publicly about those events. Then he highlighted something obvious to him.
Now, what time would your party start, let's say?
Like 9:30.
Really? That early?
Yeah.
I could make that.
Yeah.
But I could think of you of starting a party at like midnight. Like what time will it go till?
That's a different type of party, though.
No,
It'll go from like 9:30 to like maybe 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And then, we have the top 2 floors of the hotel.
And then it will carry on there.
Yeah. Then the after party.
One of the main platforms where those conversations played out on camera was Ellen's show. Rogan's point was straightforward. How did so many well-known figures orbit those gatherings for years, talk about them openly, laugh about them, and later claim they noticed nothing unusual, while current allegations suggest a very different reality? This question gained traction because much of that party talk wasn't subtle. One specific moment from a 2018 interview keeps circulating. Diddy tells Ellen he invites her to his gatherings, then explains that while they start early, the real activity happens much later at night.
So if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave.
Right.
Gotta keep them there.
Right.
You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
It's a little kinky, but
Ellen's reaction in that moment is what viewers continue to analyze. Older clips have also resurfaced, including a 2002 Conan O'Brien interview where Diddy joked about security at his events. At the time, it sounded like exaggerated humor. Now, some viewers interpret it differently. As these clips continue circulating, the focus shifts to a single question. What did Ellen know, if anything, and why has she remained silent? Past jokes, reactions, and offhand remarks are now being examined in ways they never were before, keeping the conversation alive.
I feel like you may not do that. You're neat, though, right? I would imagine your closet is color coordinated. Everything is hung in a certain, right? So you're neat. It's just that you're not the person that puts it back.
That moment alone poured even more fuel onto the conversation. Rogan's point remains straightforward. If someone was close enough to have Diddy on their show multiple times, joke openly about party culture on national television, and react in a way that suggests familiarity, then people are naturally going to expect some kind of response once the conversation turns serious. What Rogan finds suspicious isn't proof of wrongdoing. It's the silence. Not just from Ellen, but from many other well-known names who once spoke comfortably and now say nothing.
To the perfect thing, because I would like you to clear something up. There's a lot of talk going on with Chris Brown being at your place in Miami, and you arranging Chris and Rihanna getting back together.
And it's my house. And I'm allowed to give my house to whoever I want to give my house to. That's number one. Number two is that I'm the type of person that I don't cast a stone or cast a judgment on anybody. And so if a friend or friends ask me for a favor...
At the perception level, that silence stands out. But there's another layer that complicates things further. People keep bringing up the workplace controversy surrounding Ellen's show. Former staff described an environment where speaking up felt difficult and intimidating. Many commenters compare that dynamic, fear, influence, silence, to how they imagine other powerful celebrity circles operate. That comparison doesn't confirm anything illegal, but it explains why people keep drawing parallels and why the discussion refuses to fade. There are also repeated stories that surface in the same context. Claims from former crew members about a tense atmosphere on set, or rumors that certain guests were quietly excluded because of personal disagreements. Whether every detail is accurate or not, the pattern people argue about stays the same: control, pressure, and silence.
Party, but there's a camera that swings around and they go, hey, yo, Odell Beckham, and you see Justin Bieber's head come up from his crotch, and he looks in the camera and he's very confused. It's a really disturbing video.
At that time, Puff was the biggest guy in the world. You couldn't even get in his parties. And he was throwing a party, and he said, yo, Playboy, this party's $1.5 million. I said, for what? What are you saying? It costs $1.5 million to throw this party. I said, Puff, I love it. The party's amazing. Yes, the mayor is here and everything. I said, but that's too much money. I said, you come to my place in LA, I'll throw you a party for $400. That will rival this party. And he got a little mad. He was like, yo, no, I'm known.
Once the public starts seeing a pattern like that, they don't just watch old clips. They reinterpret them. One moment often cited as the sharpest contrast comes from 2009. After Chris Brown faced public accusations involving Rihanna, Ellen questioned Diddy on her show about why Chris Brown was allowed to stay at his house. Ellen spoke firmly, saying she didn't want young women to think it was acceptable to return to someone who had harmed them. Years later, when stories emerged about her own show, former staff described behavior they felt was toxic and emotionally damaging. That contrast is why some people call it hypocrisy. Not because it proves a crime, but because the difference between public statements and private accusations feels hard to ignore. Then there's the move overseas. Reports later surfaced that Ellen and Portia sold their Montecito home and relocated to England, with the move publicly linked to the political climate. Many viewers immediately connected that timing to the broader conversation, especially as Diddy's legal situation gained more attention and people watched closely to see which celebrities spoke up and which stayed quiet.
All right, well, let me catch up on what's been going on with me since you saw me last. I decided to take up gardening. I got chickens. Let me see what else I can tell you about that. It's been going on. Oh, yeah, I got...
This is where things spiral. The internet doesn't just observe, it creates narratives. At one point, a rumor spread online claiming Ellen was connected to an arrest warrant tied to her former DJ, Stephen Twitch Boss, who passed away in 2022, and that some recording was played in court. Fact-checkers quickly debunked the claim, but what stood out was how fast it spread anyway. People weren't asking if it was true at first. They were asking if it fit the story they already believed. That's the danger. Once trust erodes, rumors can move faster than reality. The skepticism is real, and that's why these conversations persist. Even in her Netflix special For Your Approval, Ellen addressed being pushed out of television and joked about the collapse of her Be Kind image. She talked about extremes in the industry, how people either idolize you or loudly criticize you. Some viewers didn't hear accountability in that. They heard someone still processing the fallout rather than fully owning it. Then came another viral moment. Aaron Rodgers appeared on Joe Rogan's podcast and made a comparison between Ellen's old show set and Epstein Island based on architectural similarities. Rogan shut that down immediately, saying it was likely coincidence. Still, the fact that it was even mentioned shows how far Ellen's reputation has shifted in online spaces. People are trying to place her into the same conspiracy framework they apply to the most infamous names in modern history, not because it's proven, but because those stories feel dramatic and cinematic. Looking at reactions online, the same themes repeat. Some say Ellen knew more than she admitted. Others say Rogan is simply saying what many people are thinking. Body language clips get analyzed, with viewers labeling her reactions as suspicious. Again, that's not evidence, it's perception. But perception drives these debates. Toxic workplace headlines, an apology that many felt wasn't enough, a move overseas interpreted as avoidance, and the growing Diddy conversation all get stitched together into one narrative. That's the engine behind this story. Many people feel Ellen never truly faced consequences, so they look for a larger explanation. And that circles back to the original question. Why does it feel like no one wants to talk about Ellen in this conversation? Once a major platform treats something as a valid question, the audience naturally takes it further. That's how conversations grow. But the real controversy here was never about comparing Ellen to Diddy. That kind of comparison would be irresponsible and misleading. The real issue people keep circling back to is much simpler. Why do certain names get questioned repeatedly, while others are approached with far more caution even when the clips exist, the quotes are public, and the optics don't look clean? That question keeps resurfacing because the Diddy situation forced a rewind. Old interviews are replayed, old jokes get re-examined. Moments that once felt harmless now feel uncomfortable to some viewers. Suddenly, people aren't just watching entertainment anymore. They're watching for patterns. That's how Ellen's name stays in the conversation. So what's realistically next for her? Most likely a quiet life away from the spotlight. Unless someone steps forward with clear, verifiable evidence, connecting her to anything unlawful, not speculation, not online theories, not interpretations of body language, the discussion will likely stay in the realm of perception. Her legacy, at least publicly, will probably remain tied to the workplace controversy and the colder reputation that followed the end of her show, rather than anything directly connected to Diddy. As for Diddy, his legal situation doesn't simply disappear. There are ongoing filings, appeals, and civil matters, and the attention around those cases continues to ripple outward. Whether fairly or unfairly, more names get pulled into the conversation as people search for context, connections, and explanations. That's how these cycles work. Once trust cracks, the internet doesn't stop digging. So the real question is this: do you believe Ellen knew more than she ever admitted? Or is this just another example of the internet doing what it always does, turning old clips into a larger storyline? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more breakdowns of celebrity stories that mainstream coverage often avoids, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out the other content already up.